big. All right. Yeah, I do not have my second screen yet. I came back from St. Louis and I did not want to have that thing like sitting on the curb while I was away. I thought that's just bad form. So here we go. That looks reasonable. We're going to see. I might have to adjust it because the game might not show when we get into the games. So as I said, I'm going to be a little bit, it's going to be a little funny. I'm going to check in. I have to like switch windows, you know, when I go over to look at the other, at the Twitch feed. In fact, and I have to look at the YouTube one too. It's mislabeled. There's all kinds of things going on, you know, all kinds of stuff. Like this thing on YouTube is mislabeled. But anyways, I'm streaming to Twitch and YouTube. I'm going to have this fixed by tomorrow, hopefully. Tomorrow, we're doing the 1,000 plus graduates. Okay. And Skebik's got his initial FIDE rating. There we go, buddy. Yeah, that's right. Okay, good. That's great. So, Fogra says, I've barely done any additional work since graduating from 0 to 300 last week, but I switched from ChessCom Rapid to Lead Chess, and the site said that I should to Lead Chess Classical. I look forward to playing fewer but longer format games and having more time to spend on analysis and trying to improve tactics via puzzles. Lots of tasks still to complete from the first 2 cohorts, and I'll be doing that also. Thanks to my training partners and those who have reviewed my games because it's been a really big help. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So let's click on Fogra here. 73 years old. Oh, man. There we go. Yeah. Now, one interesting thing about Alzheimer's, he mentions that here, is Larry Christensen, famous U.S. player. I was hanging out with him, and he made the contention that chess players don't get Alzheimer's. Now, I don't know, but it's kind of an interesting thing. Obviously, part of that claim is just he didn't know anybody that got Alzheimer's. Now, you could say there's something about chess players' minds. They might have other kinds of mental illnesses, but they won't get Alzheimer's. Or you could say that playing chess will stop you from getting Alzheimer's. Good question. I don't know, but it's just an interesting anecdotal thing that I'm going to keep my eye on. Okay, so as you can see, Fogra is going for it. And Fogra, dude, you're way up here, man. So somehow you did your lead chess and, you know, flew way up there. So probably you're somewhere in the middle here. So it's good that you didn't graduate 1,000 times. Do some tactics, buddy. Do some tactics tests. That would help us understand where you are. Okay, so let's go clubs. Canada Dojo, 50 plus. Oh, wait a second. I think that's new and I have to join that. Join club, buddy. So here we go. This is our 50 plus club right there. Super cool. And now we're going to take a look at Fogra's activity. Doing a lot of work. Look at that. A lot of work. One thing I'll say about it is, my experience, I've taught some older guys, is, you know, older guys can get a really good positional understanding, and then generally it's the tactics, you know, that are getting crushed on. So we're going to see in Fogra's games, but we want Fogra to especially, I mean, anyone under 1,000 is going to want to focus on not hanging stuff, right? But especially when you're older, you want to really, really focus on not hanging your business. That will be the thing, in my experience, that will crush you and hold you back. Actually, let me put it this way. Everybody under 1,000 is going to have trouble hanging stuff. That's a lot of what this whole graduation show is when we do this every week, right? When the under 1,000. It's about people hanging stuff. And as we get older, but people who are not old generally transition out of that, can grow out of that. And several older people I've seen have gotten stuck on precisely that barrier right? That they get stuck hanging stuff. And no matter how their other, bits of chess wisdom improve, they're still getting hammered on the tactical stuff. So we're going to pay attention to that when we look at one of focus games and just have that in the back of our mind as something that has to be overcome for everybody, but a special challenge for us older dudes. Now, first thing I want to do is make sure we can kind of sort of see this. We cannot. We cannot. Okay, Kraai. So you need to fix this somehow. We're going to go whoop. Oh, it's a mess, isn't it? I haven't yet to solve this problem. I tried to do it 2 layouts, so on this little streaming thing, that's 2 scenes, but it didn't work out for me. It didn't work out. So I am now down to this, and it's just not pretty, because then there's blank space at the bottom. If anyone has a solution to this, by the way, I've tried all kinds of things, and it is just not working out for me. Okay, Kraai. So let's see how, because I gotta make it long here. Yeah, this is no good. This is no good. See, so I gotta make it this long, which means when I compress the situation, no one can see it. The other solution would be to forget about this stuff on the side. Maybe this is the pro move. Keep the annotations and then expand it as such. That might be our best bet. Now, the bummer about this is you guys can't see when I expand his time situation. So I can go look at their times. And so, for example, on this one, I could see his opponent didn't use any time at all. This game was a 30 plus 30 with an increment. And so just to give you a sense of what you're missing here, let's expand it this way just for a second. So Fogra is white, and he didn't use nearly as much time as he should have. But as you can see, when you're playing online against a distracted, nervous opponent who's not very strong, they often do this. And the shame of the dojo is when we let their speed be contagious and we also move fast. So one good piece of news is for the old guys and the people in the dojo, Black might be a genius, but he's not going to beat us, or we have a much better chance of winning if they are not able to take their time. So let's start this back. I'll move it on over, Mr. Grover. So here we go. That looks, I'll make it a little smaller, Kraai, just a little bit. Can you just make the cut? Can you please help me? There we go, good. Okay, I think that looks fairly reasonable. Okay, so, got all these windows going on. So, all right. I'm looking at our business here. Does it look right on the screen? It still does not look correct, Mundo. Kraai, buddy. You're killing me, Bows. You're killing me. It is still not correct, buddy. It kills. It kills. Well, maybe we'll leave it right there. Maybe we'll leave it right there. We could expand this. It wouldn't really matter. No, that doesn't help. I'm just trying to find the right layout. I've done this for years. It's still difficult. I want people to see people's annotations. And I also want to show the time graph. And then as you can see, it's a pain in you-know-what to show that. Maybe a separate window for the time graph. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a separate window. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's just do this real quick. I have a solution. We're going to do this. And we're going to go. I think I have a way to do it. Because the time graph, I only need to intermittently show. Right? So we'll go here. And then we'll do this. So this is a different scene, as they call it, in L streaming world. And we're just going to capture this and get rid of all this other stuff. And so periodically, if I need to show the time graph, I can just show. As you can see, his opponent lost his mind over here. Complete loss of mind. And, yeah. So one more thing we'll do just to grab my pretty face. Come over here. Put this out. Oh, pretty face. There we go. I'll even make myself here a little bit bigger. Okay, enough playing around. Boom. Let's go check out the game. And our champion is white. Fine so far. Fine. There's nothing wrong with that. D6. Fine. Fine. D3. Okay, you're doing fine. And he writes, Black's decision to trade their light square bishop for my knight was a mistake. It simply allowed me to develop my queen. Very nice. Okay, well said. That's a mistake. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Well, that's going to be mate, isn't it? Well, it's not mate, buddy, but it's kind of the end of the world. Knight f6, queen h8, knight g4, queen takes. Knight e7, h3, knight f2, and now is our prickly moment. Now is our prickly moment. And it's a little hot. And one of the things here that's really important is when you give yourself a double question mark. Now, you're right. This is a mistake. But when you do so, you really, really need to tell us why. Or rather, what you should have done instead. Right? And I think you have a couple different moves. The natural one for my lame-o self, first question would be rook f2. But then queen f2, king h2, queen check. We got to calculate that out. I think it's winning, but there's still some questions. Yeah, there's some questions going on with that one. In fact, I'm not sure. So then we start looking at king h2, and that looks a little bit more reasonable. And then the idea would be a knight here, rook here. Then we snip the thing, and that doesn't come with check. So that's the variation I'd want you to have. And then they blunder knight f2. That wasn't it, buddy. Bishop h4. So as we see in the under 1,000 cohorts, right, the game is decided with tactical stuff, but we gain a competitive advantage when we understand that this is giving us free development, right? Okay, beautiful. Well done, Fogra. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have Eridanus. Make sure I'm not committing some kind of crime over here. So, Eridanus, just to join the dojo, consultant and insomniac. Ooh, late night chess session. I bet he's young. I bet he's young to be doing that. First, get some tactics rating, Bows. Get a tactics rating. Next up, we have clubs. Hasn't joined any clubs yet. By the time he graduates, he'll have more tactics ratings and clubs. Activity. Okay. Looks pretty good. 8 hours of work gives him the graduation. Does he have a game? No games. Typical for somebody who's just joined the dojo. So, Eridanus, I like that you told us who you are. Maybe join the club. Sometimes the club just helps me see where you are, what city you are, maybe what country. And then put some games in, do the tactics test. Ooh, and Kraai blew it a little bit there. I'm supposed to click it in a different way. Here's King Jared. Oh, actually, let's read what Eridanus said. Longer games really paid off. I lost the first couple, but then it allowed to look at all my potential moves the more I slowed down. Yeah. Based less on intuition and more on process. Very well said. Next up, we have King Jared. Let's follow King Jared. So, actually, the lead chess things are out of line. So this is 1028. ChessCom is 402. So I guess he's kind of decided he's somewhere in the middle. I think that's the Australian Chess Federation. That's the first time I've seen that icon. And he's flying up there. And then the tactics rating is more in line with the cohort they have put themselves into. Interestingly, tactics tests here wildly stronger than the checkmate tests. Need to work on them, mates. Yep. Okay. So, all right. Clubs, down under dojo, as suspected, ACF. Then we got some activity. Lots of work getting done here. Very nice. Good macro distribution. All right. And games. Here's King Jared for the win. Oh, I'm gonna see if we got one that's a little bit better annotations. Nope. So King Jared, I want to just say, I'm gonna go over one of these games, but we definitely want a little bit more here. A little bit more. Now, I am gonna do this magical thing with the time graph. As you can see, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for either white or black. This is a speech I give all the time. You need, one of the key things to getting out of 1,000 is to learn to slow down. And as you can see, the opponents you're facing at this level are also not slowing down, right? So I did a video about it quite recently. You can find it on our YouTube page. But there are 3 keys to mastery, okay? There is the tactics, not hanging stuff. It's not difficult. We're just talking about not hanging stuff. Not deep tactics, just not hanging stuff. Then we have slowing down. That'll help you to not hang stuff. And then we have the competitive advantage, which is easier to learn, of just developing our pieces. Your opponents will not do it. Okay, so let's go back. And we want a little bit more annotation here, first of all. And Jared King is black, so good news is the dojo player did spend more time. Let's flip it over. I believe it's King Jared, right? Yes, King Jared. Fine so far. Good. Oh, that wasn't good. So, again, when you give yourself a double question mark, tell us what you should do. In this case, I feel bishop d6 makes a lot of sense. Okay, just because we lost a piece, though, at this level, we still have good chances to hold. Good move. Good move. Bad move. Hanging your coconuts. Well, we've identified it, King Jared. You are hanging your coconuts. Now, one thing I'm sure was probably disorienting is your opponent's moving super fast, but you do not have to move so fast, right? So, let's just see if they gave you a shot. And why do you resign here? Well, don't resign. He might give you a shot still. Okay. So I think, though, we see what's going on with King Jared. King Jared, tell us a little bit about yourself. And then I think the raid, we want some more tactics tests than the checkmate test. Because what it is, now this is the thing about hanging stuff. It's about board visualization. It's not necessarily like tactics. You see, like queen takes e7. It's not a tactic. It's just the visualization of the board. It takes a little time. But tactics, basic tactics, and the checkmate tests will help you see squares. See what is attacking what. Okay, next up we have Chocolate Bit. And Chocolate Bit says, I think the best advice for my progress has been to slow down by playing longer time controls and to analyze the game afterwards. We'll try to play even slower time controls since soon I'm still playing blunder games and I've been prone to do miscalculations because of the clock. Okay, I like that a lot. So, here we go. Chocolate Bit. And Chocolate Bit, tell us something about yourself, buddy. You can see Chocolate Bit is flying and really already ready to graduate again. Tactics rating, slaying on the checkmate test, the opposite of last time of King Jared, not doing so hot on the tactics test. I've been pleading with our people to show me how many they've been done. So I want 3 little dots. 3 is the average you'll get for the last test. And so, Kraai, you need to yell at him once again. So put it on your to-do list, buddy. 3 dots. Okay, so clubs, chess dads and moms. I think I'm in that one. Activity. And we want to just look how they got to this one. So, great. 11 hours of work, mostly tactics. Fine. Games. Chocolate a bit. And no, there's no time here, so I don't have anything to share with you there. Ooh, I have to mark these as reviewed. I just got back from my big tournament. I got to get back in the zone. Got to remember to hit the review button. So far, I'm not yelling at anybody for anything. Maybe that one. Right, we don't want to move a developed piece twice, and you are hanging your coconut on D4. Your opponent, though, doesn't see it and hangs his coconut on F5. So you say thank you very much. Beautiful. Beautiful. No one knows. No one knows. I don't like that one. So notice, I think one thing I just want to share is H4 is a good example of a reactive move. Like you think that G5 is a threat or something. And so you're like, oh God, I got to stop it. And doesn't show us how long that took you. But what should you do? You should castle, buddy. A, G5, Bishop E5, we're doing great. We're doing great. So H4 is a loss of time and it weakens a pawn. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. That wasn't it. See, these people are hanging their coconuts. They're hanging their coconuts. Check to the visible king. There we go. There we go. That's what we'd like to see. Just a full mop-up operation. Yeah, blundering everything. We're just taking chocolate bit. That will get you to the next level. Something I want to recommend is that you import the game such that we see the times. And generally, if you just do it the normal way, if you're on Lead Chess or Chess.com, just hit share, you will get the times when you do it. Okay, so well done. Well, we're going to see Chocolate Bit soon because Chocolate Bit is already above 700, so we'll see them soon again. Okay, so pop. Now, does this look horrendous? See, this looks all funny now, though, buddy. See, I got to have 3 different scenes. I don't want to have 3 different scenes. Oh, man, this is hard. So, King Gambit said over here, sorry about the layout, my friends. In this game, I played an annotated 58 long games, 135 that did great. I advanced to the last few cohorts pretty fast, but this one was Sisyphean. That means he's pushing a rock up something. Losing ELO bothers me more than it should, especially when it's from a silly, unacceptable blunder. I had a pretty bad losing streak in the middle of it, and it discouraged me from playing for a few weeks. The ever-supported Luis de la Fuente recently went over some of my games and correctly identified that my main weakness is I don't spend time anticipating what my opponent's response is going to be. I think of their forced move and tactics, but not that much about non-forced moves. I expect that my progress from now on will be a lot slower. Opponents aren't dropping as many pieces. They are starting to notice my threats. And they are punishing my mistakes. I created an Anki file, I don't know what that is, where I save and review all the simple 1 or 2 move tactics I should have seen in my games. I'd like something similar for my blunders, but I feel like black to move and not blunder doesn't quite work. Okay, let's look at King Ambit. So now our layout is now correct. So 32-year-old dentist. We have covered King Gambit before. Look at this. He is flying up, and arguably, right, his rate of growth is slowing down, as it will for everybody. But if you just track this line as opposed to this line, we can see that it is a slower rate of growth. Okay, so first we're going to scroll down. Ooh, the checkmate test needs some work there, bud. Needs some work there. As with the tactics test. So, interestingly, we'll see if the tactics are a issue here. Clubs. Okay, all kinds of clubs. Right, Indiana. Games. Oh, activity first. So we want to go back one. Oh, lots of non-dojo time. What are you doing with us, buddy? So he's doing the chess steps in simple chess. Simple chess, if that's the book that we're talking about, is definitely too advanced for where you are now. I believe that's in the 13 or the 1400 cohort. Okay, so games. And we want to just try to see if what King's Ambit felt was appropriate to what we see. That if his diagnostic is similar to ours. All right, here we go. We're going to get a nice little endgame. Okay. So, knight b5 feels a little superficial. d4, okay. Now, one thing we should say is the knight really is going to need to go back anyway. So I'm not sure about the need of playing a6. I get it that the knight might feel annoying, but that knight's going to have to fix itself, right? Good. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Take that free thing. Okay, unnecessary. Rook e8 would be our move. Okay. Okay. Oh, good move. Good move. Good move. Oh, you were just taking all this free stuff and you say thank you. Oh, there's a yard sale over here. Sure, let's trade it all off. Fancy, but okay. Thank you. Oh. I hope you at least said thank you when this all happened. We would rather have bishop f6 here, but you are killing him. Oh, look at that pawn. Look at that. Well, that was just a pure crush there. So as King Ambit had said himself, what he's seeing is these people are giving away their stuff, and that it's not going to be as easy as that going forward, right? And I totally agree. That is definitely going to happen. And again, King's Ambit barely made it, slow progress, and well, that game, I'm going to say that game, he just slayed some people. So I have nothing bad to say there. Let's say, I'm going to guess, maybe 2 or 3 months. Maybe that's what, if King's Ambit sticks at it, I think that's what they're going to get. That's when they'll make it. Okay, well done. Go back to this terrible layout. We have J Dubs. Doesn't say nothing, so let's click. We're going to follow this avid golfer, headed to graduate school, psychology, okay. We need some info over here with the tactics rating, J Dubs. All right, clubs, US evening, okay. Activity, hasn't done a lot yet, or maybe not just marked stuff done. Games, but we do have a game, good. So, pop. We'll mark it as reviewed. And I just want to quickly show these people aren't thinking. The rant continues. If you play like this, where each side may play like 7 minutes, you're basically playing something like a 5-minute game, a 5 to 10 minute game. you will play better if you use more time. Okay, so let's take a look. Fine, I'm not complaining about anything yet. I'd rather not do c3 because that's a pawn move we'd rather develop. Fine, fine, fine. Okay, now he's getting frisky and forces a, what do we want to call this? A crisis in the position. And it's funny, you say this move had you thinking for a bit, but you only still thought for less than a minute. E4, let's just say you could also pin the knight. But your move is the most ambitious. I think I have big questions about what's going on ED. I couldn't tell you just like straight offhand. It would take me a moment to analyze that. You should analyze it too. Probably not good because now the queen is on this business. Now, this is a mistake because it's going to help your knight develop. When you look at our pieces, this is the one guy who's got to get out. If it's like this knight is poisoning the bishop is poisoning the rook. Now the knight is out and the rook and the bishop can start dreaming of freedom. Queen e4, I don't like it. I'd rather see bishop takes e4. You have a threat. And queen takes e4. I think you're playing for a cheapo, which he really quickly solves with ed4. And now black is at least completely fine. Now, notice that black, in 1 second, decides to take this pawn. And I just want to say, if I were in this position, well, it would be kind of a big decision. Be a big decision what to do. I don't know. This one's not easy. In addition to knight takes d4, we can very much consider castling long. Okay, so here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Check to the miserable king. Knight e6. This move was a bit cowardice. I was very protective of castling rights. Now, tell us what you maybe should have done, namely king d7. Now, this creates an issue because now we're threatening knight c2. I guess bishop e4, and then we would want to try to analyze this position, right? The good news for us really is that our knight never wants to leave this beautiful centralized square, and if there's nothing else here, c5 would be a nice and simple move to play, right? Okay, so yes, cowardice, but tell us what you should have done. Bishop d5, okay. Now, in general, we want to, actually, let me flip it because we're looking from black's point of view. We want to say that this is a loss of time because the king will ultimately want to be active, okay? So the move that we should really ponder here is king d7. See, he's active. He's doing stuff. He's controlling center squares. In addition, though, your opponent, if they want, can steal a pawn over here. Okay. Doesn't make any sense because now he comes to the 7th and he's won a pawn. Ooh, 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 ooh. Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you're moving too fast. This is his longest think of the game, rook e7. Bam. So, my friends, look. This is the tale of the under 1,000 graduate show, right? This is where the games are being decided. And actually, yeah, no, that was us. Let's just see our finish here. Thank you very much. It's just a yard sale. Very nice. Oh, that's a nice tactic. Boom. Mm-hmm. Checkmate. Okay, well done. And so that was J-Dubs. J-Dubs, we want tactics tests from you. and we want you to fill in some more of your work. Next up, we have Patrick. Patrick, tell us who you are. J-Dubs, tell us who you are, too. Again, this is confusing. It's very confusing here. Because this says 0-300. In fact, though, he is in now the 900 to 1,000 cohort. Okay. So first up, let's look at the tactics. Got 589, 626. That is definitely lower than his 909. So maybe tactically weak. Clubs. We got some European stuff going on. Okay, activity. And we got, see, he jumped. It's very confusing to me. He jumped all the way up from 3 to 400. I don't know what was going on with Patrick. Wait, let's look at that. Yeah, I mean, he really was way down there. And then, I don't know. No, this graph doesn't help either. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with any of this stuff. Games. Let's see. We do have a game to look at. See, he was in 0 to 300. Now he's 9 to 1,000. What's going on? Now, I'll just quickly show the time. As you can see, White spent some good time, and at a certain point, they just started blitzing. Now, maybe the game is over, like somebody's up a piece, in which case I have a little bit more sympathy. But sometimes what we do see at the dojo is people get to an end game, and they're just like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm just going to blitz it out. All right, let's see what the case was. All right. So, I'm worried that I will fudge it. What will I fudge? Here he comes. Okay, obviously weird, right? Good move. Okay. We could talk about, I think this one scares me a little bit because you're enabling bishop c5. So e5, I think, would be a good move here. Good. Superficial. b3. Now, what we'd really like to think about or investigate, or whatever you want to call it, is could we get away with knight c3? I don't know. I would even have to look at it. But this is the move we want to think about because we are gaining so much time when we do this. Queen takes b2. And then we want to think about knight a4. Is it winning? I don't know. Okay? I need time myself to think about what's going on. In addition, there's this move, which is a little bit troublesome for Le Dude. Okay? Again, do I know? I'm not certain. It would take me a moment to analyze it. But in general, when they do this, when I say this, I mean not developing, we want to consider just simply ignoring them and gaining more time. Good. Now it's going to be hot for us. So, here in this position, one move that we have is knight a4, and knight b5 maybe. I don't know. But this is all happening to us because we didn't develop our stuff properly. I think as well, by the way, that this would have really hurt us as well. That's a kind of a nasty pin. So, pop, pop. Good move by black. Pop, pop. Good move. And now we're down a pawn. Queen e3. Okay. Now, in general, we want to put the queen to d4 because on e3, the queen is later going to come under harassment on the e file. Okay. Trade. Good. Good. Okay, good. Notice it dominates our knight. Oh, frisky. So, a little bit more sound, or whatever you want to call it, would be bishop d3. And I'm going to say you miss knight g4 when this was played. You move it somewhere else. So now we're down 2 pawns. Uh-oh. That just doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. d6, good move. Bishop h5. You should just take it on c8. Ooh, now. Bishop g4 is a mistake, and you could take advantage of it with rook takes e5. So we are now here, we're in a lost position, and after rook e5, it's a little bit more complicated. Now, arguably, we're still lost here, because black could go pop, 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 and even though we got this beautiful pop, the rook is so powerful. In any case, though, it's clear that we want to try this, because here we have hopes of survival. Right? Yeah. Okay, so missed it. Okay, d5, good move. Now, very important for you to now understand that you have to improve your knight. You don't? He does that. Good. Simple chess. Getting a little frisky. It's okay. At least we're trying to do something, and then he blows it like that. Okay, and you say this is now equal. Maybe it is. Now, I want to stress, we're at move 24 now, and at this point, you guys aren't really thinking. Now, Patrick, you are doing much better than your opponent. Your opponent basically right around here just stops to think at all. Good move. Good move. Okay, so black, this is very difficult, by the way. Neither side is going to take their time. Let's say you blunder this, or I blunder this. Well, then, then we got to really start thinking about what is happening here. Okay, so this goes down, and this is very frightening, because now if he wins this coconut, he can win this coconut, and then it's really like coconut destruction. So this move would be the first thought. It would force here, I think. We then go here. And you see, like, you played king f2 to deny him rook e2, but let's just take a look at that for a second. It's hard to know who's better here. To me, it looks like white is the one with chances. It's still very hot. I would like to not have to play rook c6. I might have to. Because rook here, here, here. No, maybe we are in charge. No, we're in charge. Fantastic. So, what we want to say is that king f2 looks like a big mistake. Rook e6. And now, right. And then how does black actually, we also should say that on rook d7, in my variation here, boom, that maybe black can hold this way. Yeah, this is a way to hold. Okay, so there was a way for black to hold, and this also points us in the direction that what black should be thinking here immediately, either rook e4 or rook a8. He goes passive, and now king f3 is definitely a mistake. We want to play rook d6. Rook d6, please. Oh, rook d6. Oh, but now rook d6, he's got rook. See, now it doesn't work because he's got that. And we have to be careful. We just lost a lot of time here. That wasn't it. Check to the miserable king. Let's play. So, good. Now you talk about king g3. Now, the cool thing about king g3 is if they play h6, we're going to mate them. But I don't think I don't think they need to play h6. I'd be so happy to take that pawn. King h4, I don't know. Good move. Okay. a6. This is going to get very hot, honestly. Pop. Rook takes. Now, rook takes, we should analyze this some, and you should be thinking about it. Because on pawn takes, I think he survives here. And there's a dirty trick as to why rook takes should be winning for us. King h2, and you found it. Bang! Very nice. Very nice. Your opponent, by the way, when we look at the time graph, he stopped thinking ages ago. Now, if black is in trouble here, but there is definitely practical chances for black to survive. That means black should be thinking. And then that is not correct. He needs to be thinking about rook b3 to slow down the advance of the pawns. Okay. So on rook g3, you should have said, fine. He said, buddy, you want to take my pawns? You take my pawns. King f4, king h3. Now you do it. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Oh, and then that's fine, but we want to stress that this is much more accurate. Good. Okay, well done. So that was Patrick over here, looking good with Patrick. And yeah, Patrick is getting it done. There's things about Patrick I don't, Patrick is, there's no things, Kraai. He's doing fine. The things that was weird was that he went from 300, 400 to 900, 1,000. That was weird, but definitely seems to have the strength to be there. Okay, let me check in with the chat. Again, my other monitor is coming probably by tomorrow, so I'll have a 2-monitor thing. It'll be easier for me to, check in on the chat. So, all right. Okay, so we're going to go back, and this is Kay Borman, who we've seen before, and Kay Borman says, I based this graduation on my ChessCom Rapid, giving my Elite Chess Classical time to stabilize. Felt like I hit a wall in my progress until I started some lessons with Nose. Nose is in the chat. He spotted some recurring mistakes I was making and found what I needed to work on most. Over the past few weeks, my ChessCom Rapid gained 100 plus points, my puzzle scores all went up, and I'm finding myself in a lot of endgames. I'm sure it's only going to get more difficult from here, but I'm really enjoying the journey. Thank you to everyone at the dojo that makes the program better for us every day. Thank you, Nose. Yeah. Okay. So, lots of work, basically 100 points of work done. And Nose has a great, does these great community sessions as well as lessons, so I highly encourage you to check him out. So, we got the old guy club here. And as he said in his note, he's kind of taken the difference between the ChessCom and the Lead Chess. Okay. Tactics rating. Arguably, his tactics are lower. It's kind of evening out to where he is, yeah. So, all right, this is looking great. Clubs. People, there's a whole chess steps thing here. Only 12 of them, but they're into it. We got the Philly Dojo. There's also, I think, the mainline thing is a thing in Philly. They got a club there, too. Okay, activity. So, boom. We're going to see what he did here. 800, 900. So 118 hours of work, my friends. No chump change. And boom. There it is. There it is. Nice work. That's what it should look like, too. All right, games. This is Kay Borman. And first Kraai is going to mark it as reviewed because he always forgets. And I'll quickly show that Kay Borman definitely used his time. It's not the case that everyone doesn't know. But he's been on this show before, so he knows I'm going to yell at him if he doesn't use his time. Kay Borman was the white line here in this game. Okay. So, looks like this is one of the end games he's talking about. So far, so good. I'm not complaining. Okay. Still not complaining. Beautiful. Notice all of his moves make sense there. He's bringing his people out. Good. Okay, so black, as is typical when we're playing somebody not in the dojo, they're going to be making moves that don't develop. Idle threat, we can defend that pawn and develop in a variety of ways. He goes for queen b3. Oh, and this is a very nice tactic, actually. That's a GM level tactic right there. So that was cool that he found that. Maybe the computer found that. In any case, queen b4 is dumb. Just, if nothing else, we'll play queen d2 and be like, hey, I'm developing, you're not. What do you do? Queen b3 is interesting because the only way for black to save time is to take it, and then we develop our rook. Now, notice, in general, black should not castle and try to find a way to keep his king in the center. So here he is undeveloping his king. Check to the bishop. Check to the bishop. Okay. And then this, I think, makes me nervous because of bishop c2. But I think it's actually going to work out. Now, one thing I do like about this is not so much that I approve of you hunting the bishop, but our knight on f3 is really dominated by this pawn, so it makes sense to have him go do something, even if it is just to trade himself off. Knight f5. Okay. Now, I thought you were going to play b4. That's what I thought you were going to do. And then follow it up with king d2. All right, so but instead you played knight f5. It's probably fine. Rook e8, now b4. No. I think that bishop on c2 is a chump. Okay, so we could play b4. I don't think he can win our pawn. If we need to, we can push past. Soon we're going to play king d2. Okay, bishop d1. Oh, and you even found something better. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's the way we play chess here at the dojo. These are really good notes. These are the simple kind of things that when you find them in the postmortem, you will start seeing them in your games. And what's cool about this one is we want to play king d2. That is what we would like to do. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so bishop d1. I'm going to call that a mistake. He should probably take. I wanted to get my king off the bank rank anyway. Yes. So can this be considered gaining a tempo? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Snip, snop. And let's read what he says. Okay, I finally have the half open g file for my rook. F pawn's frozen and black's position is still bad. Good. Now, I just want to add maybe a couple things about what I see in this position. Better king, better bishop, better knight, better rooks even. And it's important to say, to just stop at some point and say, this is a bishops of opposite color position. And what that means is if we gain an initiative on the light squares, we're going to be a piece up on those light squares. If they gain an initiative on the dark squares, they will be up a piece on those dark squares. Okay, knight a6, bishop f3. I think I'm okay with that move. Knight b4. Arguably a tourist on that square. You play h4, and I kind of like it. I would be interested in just thinking about rook a4. I don't know if it's true or not, or if it works, yada, yada. I would just be interested in looking at it. h4, d5. Okay, now, in general, this is wrong because you are putting a pawn on the color of your bishop. So remember what I said, we want to have the initiative on these light squares. D5 blocks our bishop's play and gives black a variety of ways for him to maybe start working on the dark squares against us. I thought maybe you would play H5 just to tell black, hey, that's kind of cool. I might put my rook here someday. I might play H6 someday. And if he plays H6, it's going to be very hard for his king ever to get out of there, you know? Now, by the way, you might say, Kraai, didn't you just tell me, boss, you're not supposed to put the pawns in the same color? Yes, but you notice, like, on the edge of the board, it's a much bigger deal, less of a deal than on D5, where we're really blocked off. Now, black plays a very ambitious, and if it works, it's a real class move, bishop D8. His position would still be interesting and good after C5, but with bishop D8, what he's trying to say is, hey, you can take here if you want, buddy. My knight's covering it, okay? I'm going to bring my bishop in. Now, does this work? Well, I don't know. That's the big question. This is a very ambitious move to play bishop D8. Now, something I want to say on CD5, we definitely don't want to take with the pawn. No, 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 no. We play knight takes D5. And you say, I don't think simplifying the position and trading pieces off is the right idea. No, it is. And we don't play CD. No, 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 no. Look at that. We bring this big fat baddie right there. Big fat baddie. You know, and look at this. Our bishop is stronger than his. So this would be a classic example of where we have the initiative on the light squares. Yeah, it's a big deal. I should extend this little arrow one more too. All right, so bishop D8. Now you play H5. Now, I was thinking, the thing I wasn't sure about with bishop D8 is you do this whole thing with DC, BC, and now knight B5. That's definitely interesting. But I was thinking to myself, well, what happens if I just play knight A2? And the answer is, I'm not sure. Because, see, if they take, we give them El Forcaroni and win a pawn. That's a Forcaroni and the winning the pawn. So I don't think they can take, and therefore they're in trouble. The big troubles, because knight B4 is its own threat. And let's say that for kicks. What do? We get the initiative on the light squares. Notice, too, our king is substantially better than their king. So H5, H6, and still you can do this DC thing. Okay, and this looks superficial. Now, bishop V6. I don't know. I don't know about bishop V6. Maybe you can get away with it. You played 90. I don't think you can. No, 94, and now you are taking some of his coconuts. So bishop B6 looks like it was too much. It was his dream, and it's a good dream that he's got going here, but it's no good. Good move. Bam, nice move. Knight D7. Thank you very much. And you're doing it all. Now, what we should say with King H, well, I mean, he's toast. He's toast. So well done. Ooh, look at that. Look at that bishop now, buddy. F6, please. There we go. Oh, that isn't it. Oh, very nice. So very nice finish. And so one of the things that I hope you can take away from this, okay, is that just to think about activity of the pieces, right? So your opponent, first of all, very nice tactical tricks, and then that whole thing of not putting the pawn in front of your bishop. I think that is a big lesson you can take away from it. I do want to say, Mr. Borman, you are also playing at a much higher level, so I think we're going to see you again here fairly soon. That was a great game. Great game. Okay, so No says he kept talking about the pawns in space instead of appreciating when it helped or hurt his pieces. right. That's right. Cross Online says, good job, Kay Borman. Yes, very, very much so. All right. And so we are now going to look. We have our last graduation of the day. This is Bodal. Love the tactics test. Nice. Thank you. We worked hard on the tactics test. I'm going to give him a follow. And has just done the checkmate test. And we want him to do the tactics test. Okay. So we are at 10:37. The nice graduation here. Clubs. European. Norwegian. Nice. We need more than 13 from Norway. Come on now. Activity. And does it have anything listed? Hopefully we'll get a game. No game. Oh. Did he just join recently? Why is it... Why hasn't he done stuff for us? Bodal, buddy, do some things for us. We need some things. Okay, so to finish this fine stream, I need to update my own business. So I played in this tournament where I did a lot of opening prep and I did a lot of games. So let's get this going. Training plan. I went up to like 2380. You know, by the way, I fell below 20. I used to be like 2510 forever FIDE, and then it just really, I got crushed. Finally had a good event. I'm working my way up back to 2400 bows. So here we go. Here's some games, and I need to write this out. So I played 9 games. So we're going to go 9 games. And now when I put in the hours, it's going to flip out because it's going to be like, really? It's that many hours? But it really was. I played about 45 hours, but definitely, I'd say most games, that was probably 5.5 hours was the average. But I'm going to say 5 hours each. So we're going to update that. And then this was a bummer about my tournament. I wasn't able to do that many postmortems. I'm going to say I did 3. And they weren't that long. I'm going to say 2 hours total. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to go back. And we're going to say openings, and I did about, I have to actually do it this way. So I prepped hard for every game, and I did a total of about, I'm going to say 20, what are we saying here? 27 hours total, and I just have to divvy it up between these. So, yeah, let's say 999 because I only had 4 whites. So we're going to add 9 hours here. We're going to add 9 hours here. And we're going to add 9 hours here. I didn't really spar. I had, one point I had Eugene come and we talked about one of the openings. Eugene, friend of the dojo, Eugene Perlstein, helped me out a little bit in my prep. But I'm just going to count that in those 9 hours. I did about 3 hours a game. Okay, my friends. So I will be back tomorrow.